This is Martin's Memory Machine, a frankly sentimental look at those wonderful 30s and 40s with the great entertainers from the big bands, the radio, and the silver movie screen. I am Clif Martin, and I dedicate it all not only to you who are old enough to remember those great days in the history of American show business, but especially to our many young listeners who just enjoy good entertainment. Come on in, it's Martin's Memory Machine, and is there a place for you in it? I kind of feel the need for some education this day on our Triple M Hour, and the only school I want to go to is operated by the old professor from the College of Musical Knowledge. Here's Kay Kaiser. Kay Kaiser from the College of Musical Knowledge, the old professor. He made a couple of movies. I think one was That's Right, You're Wrong, which was the thing he'd always holler during the radio quiz on the college show. Good band of the 40s. They could swing or do silly novelties like that equally well, I think. Anybody remember Bobby Breen? Well, you think Wayne Newton sings high. Bobby Breen, a boy soprano who I think was an Eddie Cantor discovery, will perform again from the past in 1 minute. Got a trivia question for you, and I'll make you wait till the end of the show to get the answer. What very popular radio show used that song as the theme? It wasn't sung, it was played on a pipe organ, but it was Rainbow on the River. You think about that and ask your friends, and remind me to give you the answer near the end of the show. Whose theme was Rainbow on the River? Young Bobby Breen. I don't know how old he was then, but he sure makes Wayne Newton sound like a bass, doesn't he? I believe Bobby Breen was an Eddie Cantor discovery. Last I heard of Bobby 4 or 5 years ago, I heard somewhere that he had made a rock record with the Motown company in Detroit. I don't know if he ever did. I kind of hope not. Here is Eddie Cantor, who I think discovered Bobby Breen and put him on the air in his early days. Remember old Banjo Eyes? Here's a Susie song.
Like I know Susie. Oh, nice work for a grandfather, ain't it?
Eddie Cantor, old Banjo Eyes, one of the greater entertainers of those wonderful 30s. It's the 30s and 40s we deal with mostly on our Triple M show, known as Martin's Memory Machine. I am Clif Martin. Write me a letter and let me know of your specific interest in nostalgia, will you? I'll bet you I'll answer it. Just send it to this very fine radio station and thank them for carrying our show, would you please? They'll appreciate that. Could you guess what phonograph record is the only one, as far as I know, that occupies a place in the Baseball Hall of Fame? Well, you think about that, and I'll crank up the phonograph and drop Buffalo Nickels in our old jukebox and get it ready to go in 1 minute.
I throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
You ask me.
You throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
Well, say
Same as you. I throw the ball to who? Naturally. Now, whoever it is drops the ball, so the guy runs a second.
Yes.
Who picks up the ball and throws it to what? What throws it to I don't know. I don't know throws it back to tomorrow. Triple play.
Yes.
Another guy gets up and it's a long fly ball to be caught. Why? I don't know. He's on third, and I don't give a darn.
What'd you say?
I said, I don't give a darn.
Oh, that's our shortstop.
Bud Abbott and Lou Costello, one of the great comedy hits of all time, and as far as I know, it's the only phonograph record in the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's called Who's on First. Remember this voice?
I'm wearing second-hand hats, second-hand clothes. That's why they call me second-hand.
That's Barbara Streisand, probably the first star to wear the superstar label, as she portrayed the life of Fanny Brice, one of the greatest entertainers of the 20s. And that was a song that was sung by Fanny Brice in the 1921 Ziegfeld Follies. I think it's kind of useless and pointless to try to compare stars like Fanny Brice and Barbara Streisand, who portrayed her in the movies. And I don't mean to do that at all, but maybe point up the fact that you can't compare them and that, well, they were 50 years apart in their careers after all. Here's the way the real original Fanny Brice sang it in 21.
I'm a bad wearing second-hand shoes, second-hand hose. All the girls hand me their second-hand clothes. Even my pajamas, when I got them, had somebody else's initials on them.
Miss Fanny Bryce, she sang it in the Ziegfeld Follies of 1921. One of these days on our Triple M show, we'll play the famous Baby Snooks character, which I think did come out of one of the Ziegfeld Folly shows that Fanny Bryce did in her last years on the radio. I'll return with Spike Jones and his famous City Slickers and some silliness here in 1 minute. Well, I think it's kind of nice to have a little culture here on our Martin Memory Machine. So for those who love the better, the more musical things in life, here's the famous Linley Jones Orchestra. You'll love it. Spike Jones and those famous City Slickers. Oh, the name of the radio show whose theme was Rainbow on the River? Sure, Dr. Christian. How about taking a sneak peek now at some things that'll be coming up on a future Martin Memory show? See how many of these artists you can name.
Oh, Squeaky the Mouse. Midnight the Cat's going to play a tune for us on our little cigar box fiddle. Will you get over there and start your little magic music box and play with her? Okay, that's fine.
With the hay in the high and the ho, 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 you start off the day with the glow, ho, ho.
Here's a little story about a rabbit on the run. Can he get away from the farmer with a gun?
Whee! Here I go!
Feel the fussin' and a fightin'. Sometimes it gets to be exciting.
Milk bucket boogie when the milk comes streaming down.
Did you get him? Smiling Ed McConnell, Two-Ton Baker, the music maker, Horace Heidt and his musical nights, the old Park Avenue hillbilly, Dorothy Shea, and finally, with a milk bucket boogie, Tiny Hill. Just a sneak peek at some stuff coming up soon and another Martin Memory Machine show. You wouldn't want to miss that, would you? I wouldn't want to miss being with you again either. This is Clif Martin with our Martin's Memory Machine. Another one very soon. And if you are just starting to think maybe this old man is right when I've been popping off about what a great form of entertainment radio is, then maybe you could kindly tell a friend about that.